Welcome back to the deep dive. You know, we often spend so much time focusing on the things we plug in, all the high-tech gadgets, the smart homes, that we completely overlook the hidden highway that powers it all. I mean, the electrical system behind our wall.
Right. Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly. So today, we're taking a fascinating and, frankly, necessary dive into home electrical safety, modernization, and the vital role played by expert, trustworthy service providers.
Yeah, that's right. And our sources today give us a really detailed look at the core services and, the operating philosophy of a highly regarded local contractor, AT Electric LLC.
Sure.
They serve the DFW area, specifically Mansfield, Arlington, Fort Worth. And for you listening, our mission is really to cut through the marketing stuff and extract that universal, crucial knowledge about what makes a home safe, what upgrades are basically mandatory for modern living, and how you can spot a contractor whose focus is genuinely on safety, not just, profit.
Okay, let's start right there then. When you're dealing with something as inherently dangerous as residential electricity, what kind of mindset is required? What's the core guiding principle, you think?
Well, the foundational principle really has to be that safety is non-negotiable. It starts right at the foundation.
Okay.
The emphasis in their materials is all about protecting loved ones from electrical hazards, minimizing fire risks, preventing shocks. What's compelling is this focus on treating every single job, big or small, a new circuit or a huge panel upgrade, with the same, extreme priority.
Being proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. It's about being proactive when you're dealing with potentially, catastrophic issues.
That proactive approach is so critical because, as the sources highlight, the danger isn't always obvious, is it? We're not just talking about a light flickering.
No, not at all.
We're talking about very real, sometimes hidden hazards lurking in older homes. Especially around the DFW region, you've got such a mix of housing ages.
Precisely. Yeah, they highlight a few key risks. First off, outdated wiring. I mean, if your home still relies on that old aluminum wiring from the 60s and 70s,
Right.
or even worse, knob and tube, that's a serious fire risk. Oxidation, poor connections, the works.
Wow.
Second, you've got faulty hidden hazards, things behind the walls you might only find during a renovation. And the most crucial recurring issue, outdated electrical panels. They just don't have the capacity or, frankly, the reliability for today's energy demands.
Now, what stands out about the company we're looking at here, AT Electric, is the emphasis on community trust. The sources keep mentioning family-owned, operated, focused on honesty, respect.
Yeah, that comes through strongly.
They frame their experience, over 25 years cited? Not just as a boast, but as a commitment, treating every customer like a neighbor.
And, that philosophy really comes through best in the specific customer experiences. We saw feedback praising the owner, Al, and crew members like Alberto directly. Customers repeatedly mentioned professionalism, knowledge, and this real commitment to getting the work done correctly, efficiently, and affordably, too.
That's huge.
When you're trusting someone with, the guts of your home's electrical system, that reputation for integrity, it's just as valuable as the technical skill, I think.
That combination, technical skill and integrity, it leads us right to maybe the biggest takeaway in the whole source material, the electrical panel upgrade.
The big one.
We often hear it's a major expense, but you really have to see it as a total safety and modernization overhaul, don't you? Why is that panel upgrade consistently singled out as the most crucial investment?
Because it's the gatekeeper. Think of your electrical panel, your breaker box, as the main artery and the brain of your entire system.
Okay.
If it fails, everything fails, and often dangerously. The core risk in older panels isn't just capacity, though that's part of it. It's often the component failure rate.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. Tell us about that technical failure point. What actually goes wrong inside?
Well, many older panels, particularly those installed, say, pre-1980s, they suffer from something called thermal cycling stress.
Thermal cycling. Okay.
Yeah, over time, just the repeated heating and cooling from electricity flowing through the bus bars, those are the metal strips connecting your breakers.
Right.
It causes corrosion and expansion. Eventually, you get a poor connection, which generates excessive heat, and that creates a major arc fault.
Or fire risk, basically.
Exactly. A serious fire risk right inside the box itself. Modern panels, which are code compliant and built for higher capacity, they mitigate this dramatically.
So capacity is the key word there.
Right.
Let's nail down what that expanded capacity really gives the modern homeowner. What are the benefits?
Okay, yeah, we can identify 4 essential benefits. They go way beyond just safety, although that's number one.
Right.
First, the obvious one, fire safety. You're swapping out those tired, potentially corroded components for modern fire-resistant materials, stable, reliable power distribution.
Makes sense.
Second, future-proofing capacity. This is huge. Older panels often max out at 100 amps. Today, if you want, say, a tankless water heater, a modern HVAC system, or, critically, an EV charger,
Ah, the EV charger.
you almost certainly need a 200 amp service minimum. So the upgrade guarantees you can power today's demands and handle tomorrow's tech.
That directly connects to efficiency too, right? I mean, if it's struggling.
Absolutely.
Yep.
That's number 3, improved efficiency and cost savings. When panels are struggling with those thermal issues or tripping breakers frequently, they're basically leaking energy. They distribute power inefficiently.
Wasting money.
Exactly. A modern panel ensures optimal flow, lower utility bills, less wasted power. And finally, as we touched on, the property value boost. An upgraded 200 amp panel, that's a massive selling point. It signals the home is ready for the 21st century.
Okay, so it's not just the panel, though. If the panel is the foundation, you mentioned whole home surge protection. That's like the insurance policy.
That's a great analogy, yeah.
How does that safeguard everything else we plug in?
Yeah.
Especially, thinking about unpredictable Texas weather and maybe grid stability issues.
Right. Well, whole home surge protection is your critical defense against what are called transient voltage spikes.
Okay.
Most people think of lightning, and it helps with that, sure. But actually, most surges are internal. They come from large appliances like your fridge or AC cycling on and off.
Really? Inside the house?
Yeah. So a proper whole home system gets installed right at the panel. It acts like a bouncer, basically.
Okay.
When it senses an unexpected spike in voltage, it shunts or diverts that excess electricity safely into the ground before it can travel through your house wiring and fry your sensitive electronics.
So we're talking TVs, computers, smart appliances, everything.
Absolutely, everything plugged in. It's essential protection if you've invested in any kind of modern tech.
Okay. And while we're talking defense, we need to touch on the basics that sometimes get overlooked, outlets.
Yeah.
Specifically, GFCI outlets.
Yes, crucial.
The sources mention they're vital for high-risk areas, but let's give our listeners the real deep dive on why they work. How are they different from just a regular breaker?
Okay, this is a perfect example of advanced safety tech that saves lives. A standard circuit breaker, its job is to protect the wiring in the wall from overheating. It reacts to an overload, too much current draw.
Right, stops fires in the wall.
Exactly. A GFCI, that's ground fault circuit interrupter, it protects people. It constantly monitors the current flowing out on the hot wire and back on the neutral wire. If even a tiny amount of electricity, like as little as 5 milliamps, strays from that circuit.
5 milliamps, that's tiny.
It is tiny. If it detects that current is flowing somewhere it shouldn't, like through a person standing in water to the ground, the GFCI trips instantaneously. It detects that minute difference, the ground fault, and cuts the power in milliseconds, way faster than a standard breaker. It prevents a fatal shock. That's why code requires them in kitchens, bathrooms, garages, outdoors, anywhere near water.
That ability to detect that tiny differential, the 5 milliamps, that's the real key. That's what saves lives.
Precisely. And alongside GFCIs, a reliable contractor also focuses on just maintaining stable power through proper circuit repair and installation, making sure you don't have frequent local outages or power surges that slowly kill your appliances.
Okay, so moving beyond the sheer electrical foundation, let's look at how modernization enhances daily life and security, too. We have to talk about lighting, often dismissed as just aesthetics, right?
Yeah, but lighting is actually a major component now of home efficiency and security. The discussion in the sources really focuses heavily on the switch to LED.
Okay.
Sure, good lighting boosts curb appeal, deters intruders, makes things look nice, but the real advantage is the technology itself.
All right, give us the LED deep dive. What are those undeniable benefits that make the initial investment really pay off?
Okay, 3 big things stand out. First, safety. LEDs produce way less heat than old incandescent bulbs or even halogens.
Right, I felt how hot those old bulbs get.
Exactly. So there's less risk of combustion if a fixture is near insulation or cloth. Plus, less heat means slightly lower ambient temperature in your home, which can actually reduce summer cooling costs a bit.
Interesting. Okay, what else?
Second, longevity. This is a big one. LEDs can last up to 25 times longer than older bulbs.
25 times.
Yeah. Think about not having to replace bulbs constantly, especially in those hard-to-reach places like chandeliers or vaulted ceilings.
Oh, yeah, that's a pain.
And third, massive energy savings. LEDs use just a fraction of the wattage to produce the same amount of light. That translates directly into noticeably lower monthly utility bills. It's a real money saver over time.
Okay, that's compelling. Now, looking towards future-proofing, the services offered by contractors like this one, they seem to reflect the shift in consumer habits, specifically the rise of electric vehicles.
Absolutely. EV charger installation is a huge part of residential electrical work now.
Hmm.
And it's not just plugging into a regular wall outlet that's level 1 charging, and it's painfully slow.
Right. Takes forever.
So the service ensures the installation of a level 2 charger is safe, properly wired to dedicated, high-capacity 240-volt circuits, and meets all the local codes.
Yeah.
This lets families charge efficiently overnight.
And crucially, as you mentioned earlier, this kind of high demand load often makes that panel upgrade a prerequisite, doesn't it?
Very often, yes. You need the capacity first.
And for those with outdoor projects, say a detached garage, maybe a pool cabana, an outdoor kitchen, the sources mention underground electrical work. That sounds pretty specialized, high stakes.
It is complex work, yeah. It requires specialized planning, knowing the codes for trenching depth, conduit types, all of that.
Okay.
Underground wiring is definitely the most durable and aesthetically pleasing way to power outdoor structures. Gets rid of trip hazards, protects the wiring from sun, ice, lawnmowers, and keeps the yard looking clean. But because you're excavating, and because of the potential danger if it's done wrong, hitting other utilities, improper grounding, it requires absolute professional care. It shows a contractor who handles the whole range, foundational upgrades right through to specialized outdoor power.
Okay, so we've covered the technical upgrades, the safety aspects, the importance of capacity planning. Let's bring this back to the final logistics of trust. For someone needing service there in the DFW area, what are the practical details that really set a reliable contractor apart?
Well, I think it boils down to transparency and reliability. The company we looked at commits to clear upfront pricing, free quotes.
No surprises.
Exactly. That eliminates probably the #1 customer complaint in any home service industry, surprise costs showing up on the bill. They also aim for fast, dependable service, minimizing downtime. And the reviews seem to back that up, mentioning fast, sometimes even same-day service for urgent issues.
That's impressive.
Yeah, and it's this high level of commitment. Serving that whole DFW community, Mansfield, Arlington, Fort Worth, Grand Prairie, and beyond, that seems to convert those initial service calls into long-term trust.
Right, building that relationship.
Okay, so just to summarize our deep dive here, we've kind of distilled 3 universal takeaways for you. First, proactive safety, really driven by modern panel upgrades, is just essential for fire prevention and for future capacity planning.
Got it. Safety and future-proofing.
Second, modernizing those foundational elements, like making sure you have GFCI outlets where needed, getting whole home surge protection. That provides specific life-saving defense for both your family and your expensive tech.
Protects people and property.
Exactly. And third, when you're searching for a contractor, you should prioritize proven experience, like the 25-plus years cited here, but combine that with a transparent, community-focused approach. Look for that upfront pricing and neighborly attitude.
Experience plus integrity. Okay. And here's the final provocative thought for you, our listener, to consider. If you happen to own an older home, just think for a second about how much energy is demanded by even the smallest, most constant items these days.
The always-on stuff.
Your Wi-Fi router, the smart doorbell, the smart TV that's always listening. Now, factor in the massive intermittent power needed for an EV charger or modern high-efficiency appliances, or maybe even transitioning to solar down the road.
Right. The load just keeps growing.
So if your electrical panel is older than, say, your microwave, that upgrade isn't just about keeping the lights on today. It's about making sure your home can actually participate safely in the modern energy economy tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what's the single oldest electrical component in your house that maybe needs an evaluation right now?
Good question to ponder.
Definitely. And if you need to follow up on any of the services we discussed, the primary contact number provided in the sources for AT Electric LLC is 682-582-5500. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.